Hi everyone, welcome back to Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw. I'm so happy you're here, and today we are talking to a very talented singer-songwriter who captures the feeling of an overworked, overachieving Asian American kid perfectly. And she also has the coolest hair. It's Katherine
Oh my
Lynn-Rose.
gosh, thank you so much for having me, Ashley.
Yes, of course. So excited to talk to you all about your songwriting journey and about Canada's Got Talent. And so, for a bit of background and a little bio, Katherine Xu, known as Katherine Lynn-Rose, is a 19-year-old Chinese Canadian singer songwriter passionate about Asian representation in musical theater. Her viral song, Top of My School, has accumulated over 4 million streams across Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. As a burnt out theater kid obsessed with validation, Katherine draws inspiration from her experience growing up in North America and in an Asian immigrant household. So, welcome, Katherine.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, again, just so happy to talk to you. And I guess we'll just start right away. And just can you talk about your background? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? And when did you discover songwriting and I guess Broadway theater performing?
Yeah, so I grew up in Burlington, Ontario. It's a pretty suburban little town, and growing up I was really shy, and so my mom signed me up for singing classes to try and get me out of my shell, and surprisingly it worked. And after that, she signed me up for musical theater, and I was immediately hooked. I loved theater so much. Did it all throughout middle school, um, high school plays, and also community theater outside of school. And it was really when COVID hit that I realized I wanted to do more writing and rather than just performing. So when COVID hit, obviously all of the plays I was in, all the musicals, everything got canceled. And so no more performing. And that was really my creative outlet because so much of my time had been consumed by academics and trying to be the best in school and everything. So theater was really my escape. And because of COVID, I really lost that. And so I decided to write some stuff myself. Also influenced by all of the rise in anti-Asian hate crimes going on during the time, and realizing that there really is a severe lack of Asian representation in the musical theater industry in general. Um,
Yeah,
the few shows that we
definitely.
do have, yeah, the few shows we do have are very much like white savior trope and stuff. So I was like, you know what? The representation isn't there. I'm gonna write it myself.
Mhm.
Um, and I even, growing up, I didn't really think that theater was the direction for me because I was growing up, I was always told oh, you're never going to make it in the entertainment industry. If you want to do musical theater, the only role you can play is Mulan. Um, and I really internalized that. And then so during COVID, I was like, well, then I'm going to write myself a lead. I'm going to write myself a show that I can star in. And yeah, I was beyond excited to be posting some of my original stuff on TikTok, and surprisingly, it resonated with a lot of people. And yeah, I'm just very grateful and glad that I have the platform I have today.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you and I are both, I think, similar in terms that we're Asian American, kids trying to pursue the theater industry, musical theater industry, and trying to break out of the mold of being told that you can only be Mulan or like in Miss Saigon or The King and I. Well, now we have K-pop, so that's different. But now we're trying to really just break out of those shells that we've been in for so long. And I mean, all your songs are so beautiful, and if people who are listening have not heard them, you need to listen to them immediately because they're just great. And then with you, you include a lot of BIPOC artists also in your ensemble, and you make sure to really just highlight them, which is so amazing. And so, what inspired you to pursue begin songwriting?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been a music nerd. I grew up singing and musical theater and everything. And I really didn't think there was many songs that told the story that I would personally resonate with. Most of the stuff you hear on the radio is about breakups and love or drugs. And I was like, I don't feel that. I don't relate to any of that.
Well,
Um,
I feel the same way.
I was like, this is a bop, but I don't resonate with this at all. So I decided to write stuff that I personally felt told my story, and I was really surprised that it resonated with a lot of other people too, not only in like North America, but also in the Philippines. I think it went viral in the Philippines. I was like,
Oh.
y'all, thanks. Um, but yeah, I really like, I would say I'm pretty much like an amateur. I don't know what I'm doing. I started in COVID with my parents' garage band on their iPad. Um, I didn't have a fancy setup or anything, and I just kind of ran with it. I just kind of was like, that sounds good. Let me record it. And people seem to like it. And now I'm always trying to work on improving my producing skills and writing skills, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely a skill I'm still working on.
I know. I mean, like for me, I feel like the same way with you, where you feel underrepresented in just the pop industry or musical theater industry, where it's just like, okay, I don't see myself in that, so what am I supposed to do? But like, I could not imagine trying to like write something. I don't know. I've like thought about it, and then I just went, okay, no, I don't know what to do. Um, but
I
it's
like
like
to say I'm a very
so,
spiteful person.
huh? I'm sorry.
I
What
like
was?
to say I'm a very spiteful person. So I was like, nothing's there for me. Well, I'm gonna write it myself, like it or not.
Yeah, yeah, fix your own problems. Um, and like what inspires like the content of your songwriting of just what you're really talking about?
Yeah, so I'm a child of immigrants, and I really that has influenced a lot of my life growing up. My parents immigrated from China to Canada in the early 2000s, and I have an older brother. He's sort of like the golden child. He's got a six-figure STEM job, whatever, all fancy. He's got a baby now, all set, and I'm here studying performing and media arts. So it's definitely been a lot of me drawing from my personal experiences, mainly during high school, trying to thrive on academic achievement and realizing that the root of that is really just because of all the pressure I built on myself and also the pressure that my parents may have subconsciously built on me as well.
Mhm,
Um, and like my brother and everything too, it's very much the context of, oh, so this is the person who's the top of her school. She has everything together, but here there's a layer underneath that, and she really is just chasing for love and affection all the
mhm,
time, and numbers define her life.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I know for me in high school, I'm a senior now, and so I remember like freshman year, it's like I'm gonna be perfect, and like I've still had decent grades and really good grades, but it's like okay, I don't need to be taking 5 APs. I'm like that's too much for me, especially going into musical theater. And like for you, I know that like I think it was last year Broadway Con, you said that your parents allowed you to switch your major.
Mhm.
Because you go to Cornell, and so what was that journey like of, getting to college for something that maybe you didn't want to do, and then ending up to finally being able to switch to something you're passionate about?
So basically, I applied to universities during COVID and everything, and I also applied out of spite. I do everything out of spite. Basically, remember how my brother's the golden child and everything? He's 12 years older than me. So 12 years ago, he applied for Cornell University and he didn't get in. And so when it came time for me to apply for universities, my dad was like, "Don't even bother looking at Cornell. Your brother didn't get in, so you can't get in. There's no way. Like David didn't get in, so you can't. David couldn't do it, so neither could you." And I was like, okay, want to bet? Is that a challenge? And so I applied. And guess who got in? And proved my dad wrong. I got in with anticipated like double major in math and music. And first semester, it was fine. I was mostly doing like general requirements like language, writing seminars. But when it came time to spring semester, I was the lowest. I was at the lowest mentally I've ever been in my entire life. I was not having it. I was failing my math classes. I was struggling to get up out of bed in the morning. And I was actually put on academic probation at the end of the semester. And that was really a wake-up call for me and my parents because they realized, what's the point if you're going to be unhappy for the rest of your life? I'm tearing up now. Oh my God.
Oh.
And so they did something that felt really out of character for me. Whoa. I'm gonna stop crying during interviews. Okay. They did something that was really out of character. And they were like, you know what, Catherine? We really just want you to graduate. You're at Cornell. You'll get a job no matter what you do. Study what you love. Do performing and media arts. And I was like, oh my God, who are you? And what have you done with my parents? And so I switched, and I'm thriving right now. My classes are so fun. I'm actually really enjoying what I'm learning. And so that was a huge turning point in my life. Stop crying.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. This is like our safe, little safe place to just talk about our lives and what we're, what we're passionate about. And I mean that the fact that you're so happy now studying something that you do like. I mean, that's just the best to hear about. I mean, I mean, I am applying to be a BFA musical theater major, and so mostly like around New York and stuff. And so I'm like, if I move to New York and you're ever in the city, like, hit me up.
I'll work many times throughout the year. I love New York. I travel there as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, no, so much fun. But I'm so happy to hear that you're just thriving now and that you get to study something that you love, which is it's great. It's amazing. And do you have a favorite lyric that you've ever written? Like something that when you read it, you're like, oh my gosh, I did that.
That's a really good question. I don't know. Um, I think some of my favorite lyrics are from a song I haven't released yet.
Oh
Um, a
no.
second. Basically, spoiler alert, the song is about my relationship with my mom. Growing up, there was always a language barrier, because she was from China. And so the only way we really connected was through media. And so she would always sit and watch my favorite shows with me. And there was sort of this accepted comfort in silence. Um, but there's also this longing. I'm gonna cry again. Oh my God. There's also this longing underlying feeling like I know that you won't say I love you, but sometimes I really just want to hear those words. I know that you love me, but sometimes it would just be great if you could say it. Ah! Because saying I love you is very uncommon in Chinese culture. It's very much like, oh, it's too cheesy. We don't say I love you.
Yeah, we do it through
Show
action.
it.
Yeah.
Like my mom shows it by watching TV with me for hours in a language that she's not proficient in. Um, and yeah, I think one of the lyrics was like, there's a special sort of silence. What is it? There's a special sort of silence. And we both know what it means.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Mm.
that's beautiful. I'm so excited to hear it. I mean, we'll get to talking about Canada's Got Talent in a little bit, but um yeah, just like the things that you write about, Catherine, it's so beautiful. And when you hear it, like I'm in that one part that went like mega viral. Like, but if I hadn't earned a dollar, what would you think of if I
Yeah.
do daughter? Like, oh my gosh, it just hits you, and you're like, what? Oh my god! Like, I didn't know that those emotions are like gonna come out. I mean, for me, I think my parents are a little bit like abnormal for Asian parents because like they're actually very supportive of me and
That's
going through the
amazing.
words. And like we do say I love you but and stuff, and like trying to just like break the norm like break the cycle because it's so it's hard to hear when people just obviously people Chinese people love to do things through actions, through food, love to do, but it's like with grandparents or something, it's hard to like have such a disconnect where you're connected but so disconnected at the same time. And so yeah, we're gonna keep trying to bring those
Yeah.
things together because I think a loving world is always much better.
Oh,
um
good for you guys.
and since it went so viral, your songs, like what did it mean to you to have such a great platform on like TikTok and YouTube? And sorry for everyone listening, I'm coughing because I had pneumonia and valley fever, so we're struggling a little bit, but it's okay. We're still here.
Better. Um, what's the question again? I'm so sorry.
It's like with your communities on TikTok and YouTube, like how much fun is it to have those, and what does it mean to you have to have that support?
Yeah, it's definitely not what I expected, you know? I was one of those people who was like, TikTok, I'm not gonna be one of those guys who downloads TikTok. That's a waste of time. And then COVID happened, and I was like, I'm gonna make it a goal to become TikTok famous by the end of quarantine. And then so I started posting on TikTok. I was like, I'm so grateful. And TikTok is such a safe space, in my opinion. You can really just like put your stuff out there, and it can be anyone. You don't need a label. You don't need all these connections to get your stuff seen, because the For You page really just like boosts it to everyone. At least back in the day, it did. I don't know if the algorithm changed.
Not for me, not for me anymore.
Yeah. And so it really got your stuff out there to a lot of viewers, and whoever resonated with it would stay and then follow you and stuff. And it's been great. I met so many incredible musical theater friends and also singer-songwriter friends through TikTok. They're so talented. A lot of them sing in the ensemble of my songs. Um, yeah, and YouTube, I've been doing YouTube for a while. I've been doing covers since before COVID and stuff. But it was really after I did my original stuff that I felt like my YouTube was more me and less me singing other people's songs. Because again, I didn't really resonate with a lot of the other songs I was singing. I was just like, I'm gonna sing a song and put it on YouTube.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really great to be recognized for who you are and the art you are creating originally. And to have that community of people who share similar experiences. Like if you go through my top of my school YouTube comments, I'm so concerned for everyone. Everyone's like writing paragraphs and like trauma dumping about like their family experience. I'm like, guys,
Oh
like thanks for streaming, but like, are y'all okay?
my God. Yeah.
It's really great for like finding people who have similar experiences as you and realizing that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Um, and it's gonna get better.
Yeah. I mean, look at you now. You're thriving. And like when you write a song or you release a song out in the world and people get to see it, like what is your biggest hope or something that you hope people will take away from it?
I think like I hope that the biggest takeaway from my music is that like there are so many stories that can be told. Everyone has their own story. But some stories just don't get told because, the industry is so dominated by people who don't look like us. And so I just really want the big takeaway to be there are so many interesting stories from so many different cultures, different people with different experiences. Everyone has their own story to tell. And no matter how personal your story can be, it can also be universal.
Mhm.
Like I didn't expect Top of My School to resonate with people from the Philippines because I wrote it in the perspective of like a typical like American immigrant child student in
Yeah.
America with like Chinese parents or something. But then it went like people play it in school in the Philippines, and I was like not expecting that sort of um, connection to that song. And yeah, I just want people to realize that we can be telling our own stories, and there will be people who listen. It's
Yeah.
not unmarketable.
I know, and we can write it ourselves too and share our own experiences through things that we know because people always say write what you know. It's like, okay, then let me write what I know. Let me write what I've experienced. I mean, as a Taiwanese American girl in California, like it's such a specific experience of trying to either be academically valid or artistically valid to other people, but it's like, okay, we can all kind of take those experiences and relate to them. It's not like, I mean, I think we saw that with a strange loop. People could see themselves in something so so specific, but it's so broad at the same time. And I think that's what people really saw in your music. And I don't know, it's just amazing.
So much.
And can you tell us about when you went like viral and like what that experience was like?
I
I
don't
mean,
even know.
was it immediate or did it kind of gradually build up?
I think it was kind of gradual, but there's definitely like a spike when I look at my Spotify like
Mhm.
history. It was around the same time as I released Price of Perfection, my second song, that Top of My School was really popping off in the Philippines
Oh.
specifically. And I don't really, I still don't know why.
The Philippines loves you. It's okay.
Yeah, I
We love
still don't know why. Like Slay, y'all, thanks. I think they're like they make up more than 50% of my YouTube like viewers right now. Oh, thank you.
They're very
Um,
supportive.
yeah. Basically, I think There also it keeps spiking like at random times, and I'm like, is it like exam season in the Philippines right now? Like, is it back to school season? Like, what's going on? Like maybe something is specific, or maybe it's just completely random. I really don't know. I just remember when I started seeing like a little peak, I was like, okay, I gotta be marketing. I got TikTok every day. We gotta be doing all the stupid trends and like make all these audio sounds on the TikTok so that people can try and like ramp it up even more. But yeah, it really was out of nowhere. I don't know what happened, but I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy what YouTube can do. I mean, like with my family, none of us have really had anything like go viral ever, except for like this one video that my mom has, and like people will still comment on it, even though it was from like 2 years ago. And
Yeah,
it's like algorithms are so weird, and I have no idea how they work, but they do. I don't know.
I don't know. It was like so random.
Yeah, and now I think we need to talk a bit about Canada's Got Talent, which is the show that you're gonna be on. And so when did you first audition? How did you hear about it? What was your first experience going in and just your experience being on the show?
Yeah, so I was actually the choice for me to submit my like virtual audition was super last minute. I was actually just looking at my old audition videos like yesterday. It's all filmed in the dark with like an LED light and like my computer as like my ring light because it was so dark and it was like midnight or something. And I was like, you know what? I'll just submit it. And it was very much on the fly. I was in my room. I submitted my videos because basically for many years, my mom's always been like, Catherine, you gotta like put yourself out there. Submit to like 中国好声音, like China Idol. Submit to like these shows. And I'm always like, no. But then my best friend Grace, she was like, Catherine, Canada's Got Talent. You gotta submit. You gotta submit. And she was like nagging me. And I was like, I mean, I guess fine. And then when I heard back, I was so surprised. And we filmed my audition back in, what was it, October? And I've just been so grateful to be a part of the journey. I've like never been on TV, nothing like that. The fanciest thing I've done was like community theater in Burlington, Ontario. And so it was like very like drastic going to like a professional like production like set and everything and having producers and people talk to you about like creative concepting and like doing all these fancy interviews. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I feel kind of famous right now." And it was really great. The team has been super supportive in trying to like bring my vision to life with my audition. I know a lot of these like talent voice shows, they get a bad rep because it's like a lot of things are scripted and a lot of people come in not ending up doing what they wanted to do. People try and like, get framed in a bad light, like but I had an incredible experience on CGT. I everyone was very accommodating, and if I brought up a suggestion for like creative direction, they would like fully listen to me, and they actually like most of the time asked me what my ideas were first, um, before like pitching, like for example like song ideas. They would come to me first, and I was like, I really appreciate those guys. um,
And is it like, is your audition gonna be like debuting a new song?
my audition.
Sorry, I can only take that request while you're listening to music or a podcast.
Why are you here? Okay.
I
Um,
guess you'll just have to like watch my audition to see what I sing.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And so,
Um,
like, how can we support that journey of being on Canada's Got Talent and I guess watch it and vote for you if let's see how it works.
see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I will be posting a lot about it on my Instagram and TikTok. So I would say follow me there to know when my episode airs and everything. I'm gonna be supporting the entire season. So the season premiere is March 21st on City TV. I'm gonna be watching all the episodes. Feel free to join me if you would like. But don't worry, I will be letting everyone know when my actual episode comes out. Um, yeah, and I hope if you can't stream it, I think they're posting clips on YouTube, but I would love it if people could. I think basically City TV, there's like a Prime subscription, and then you get like a trial with City TV. I'm not really sure, but if you
It's
can
okay.
watch it,
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Just follow Catherine and
yeah,
it'll be
I'll
okay.
let y'all know.
Yeah. And for you, Catherine, like what is your dream as a songwriter?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I feel like I have so many aspirations and goals I want to do that there's like not enough time to get them all done, but I will manifest, it will get done. Um, One, like I would love to be like a touring artist, like Taylor Swift. What Taylor Swift is doing right now, so cool. But I'd also love to like be behind the scenes and work on like a completely original Broadway musical because at the end of the day, theater is my root, like my home. Music is just kind of like what it ended up transforming into, and I love both so much. And so I find it always super struggling to have to like choose between the two. I call my genre musical theater pop, and there's not many other artists who do the same thing, so it's hard to pitch to like Spotify playlists because it's not really a genre right now.
Yeah.
Similarly with like Broadway and stuff right now, most of my songs are singles. They're not like in the form of a cast album with multiple characters. So it's also hard to like work on that. But I would love to do all of the above. We'll
Yeah.
see how things go. I just know I want to be in New York.
Yeah. I do too. We can hang out and just do everything in New York. The big city. Um and talking about representation, we're both like, well, I'm Taiwanese, you're Chinese, American artists. And so what does representation mean to you?
Representation matters so much. I think it was very, what's the word? People are getting better at realizing how much representation matters nowadays, but growing up, it was very much not thought of at all.
Mhm.
I grew up watching Barbie, Disney princesses, my token one Mulan, um, and there really wasn't much for us growing up. And we're getting better, but I think there's definitely a lot to improve on. Representation is not only just seeing people who look like you on stage, but also seeing people who look like you behind the scenes,
Mhm.
writing, directing. Because, what's the point if the people of color are just like puppets on stage and are just directed by a bunch of white men who don't understand the cultural significance of anything. Like it's so important to have representation that is we can see and also don't necessarily always see.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I it's definitely like one of the main things I'm always like bringing back and like so many of the things I'm doing in my like school essays. I'm always like representation
Yeah,
matters.
me too.
Like looking at everything everywhere all at once. It's like a proof that like the immigrant story is marketable. Like it's not, some people use the excuse of like, oh, not everyone's gonna understand like this really specific cultural story, but that movie is just like proof that you can make a story universal but also so important towards a certain group of people who just never had their story told. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, everything everywhere all at once kind of showed everyone like, okay, we're here. We can do this. We can make our own stuff. And Helen Park being the first Asian like you know composer on Broadway, hopefully like a lyricist, and maybe Catherine could be the second. Call her up. And representation means so much, I know, to both of us and to so many other Asian American people of just, if you see it, you can believe it, and then you can want to do it, because I think that's what happened to both of us where we saw theater and we were like, okay, maybe we can do this, like maybe we can try to be something that we love, like do something that we love. Yeah, and we're trying to study it at school and working towards those dreams, because we can make them come true. I believe in us.
Yeah, got it.
Manifest everything. um
Exactly.
yeah. So, Catherine, any last things you want to say to everyone listening?
Um, if you're an aspiring singer-songwriter or performer out there and you have any doubts, just full send. Post on TikTok. I don't know. You never know what could happen. You never know who might see
You could
it.
go viral.
Yeah, like you don't try not to limit yourself is what I'm saying. Like I very much could have done what I've been doing the past like many years and just not have auditioned for Canada's Got Talent, but I did it and I'm so proud of myself for doing it because it's out of my comfort zone, but I'm putting myself out there and getting my stuff seen. And I know there's so many stories that need to be told, and if you think you have one, please share it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And Thank you, Catherine, for being on the pod today. So great to see you again and just talk about your journey as an artist. I'm so happy and just excited to see where everything goes for you. I mean, you're at Cornell, you're gonna be on Canada's Got Talent, you got so much stuff going for you. Um, and thank you to everyone listening for listening to Broadway Corner of the Ashley Haw. Make sure you follow me at Broadway Corner of the Ashley Haw and Broadway_corner. And make sure also to follow Catherine. I don't remember what your handle is, but I will link it in the descriptions.
Rose, you got it.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. You've been listening to Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.